Hi everybody, it's Brian here. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So in today's episode, we're going to be looking at designing for two products on Redbubble that you don't normally hear too much about. Predominantly, it's all about stickers and t-shirts and throw pillows and whatnot. But not too often do you hear about these two particular products, and those products being duffel bags and backpacks. So in today's episodes, we're going to look into these two items, what the benefits are for designing for them, and what the potential profit margins you can expect, particularly as we approach the fourth quarter. So stay tuned. Now, before we continue with today's episode, the fact that you're here leads me to believe that you're interested in all things pertaining to print on demand. And for that, you found the right channel. This channel is dedicated to providing you with actionable tips, motivational advice to help you get your print on demand business going and to grow to the highest levels that it can possibly grow. So don't forget to click that subscribe button, give this video a like, and click the bell notification icon so that you'll be informed each and every time that I upload a video to my channel. I upload a video every Wednesday and Saturday, and as I stated earlier, this channel is bent on one important goal, and that's to help you achieve more success with your print-on-demand business. And now, let's hop over to my computer screen and talk about duffel bags and backpacks. Okay, so welcome back to my computer screen, and as you can see here, I have a screenshot that I took from Redbubble pertaining to the category of t-shirts. And as you can see over here, in terms of t-shirts, it brought up the results of 673,503 results at the time of publishing this video. And if we had to go and look into, let's just stickers, well, stickers brought back a result of over 747,000 results, whereas phone cases brought back 661,000 results. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, basically, when we hear about print on demand and we think of Redbubble and TeePublic and all the other print on demand platforms, we typically tend to focus our attention on these particular items, that being t-shirts, phone cases, and stickers. And not too often do we think about backpacks and duffel bags as two potential products to actually design for, maybe even perhaps create a specific product store based around those two products. And the reason why I'm bringing this to your attention is because if we look at, for example, duffel bags over here, at the time of publishing this video, Redbubble brought back a result of over 127,000 results. Compared to phone cases, that's basically 1/6 of the amount of phone cases that are on Redbubble. And if we had to look at backpacks, well, backpacks brought back a result of 149,000 results. So if we had to think about this for a moment, if we wanted to design for some products where there isn't a lot of competition and the results are relatively low, and more importantly, the profit margins could be quite lucrative, well, backpacks and duffel bags are clearly two product items that we should actually all be considering and designing for, particularly in this fourth quarter when most people are starting to get into the gift-giving mindset. So if we just have to pop over back to my computer screen and take a look at a potential profit margin for duffel bags and backpacks, you can see that this is definitely something worth giving your attention to, particularly now more than ever. So let's pop over back to my computer screen. Okay, so what I did was I went into my dashboard and I extrapolated the backpack and duffel bag retail price and an example of a profit margin you could potentially use for your own respective shop to give you a great return, but still keep you competitive with all of the other designers that are out there on Redbubble. Now, as you can see here, the base price for backpacks on Redbubble is 60 euros 89 cents. Obviously, my computer is configured to euro because I'm obviously in Europe at the moment. And with a 35% markup, the profit margin would be around 13 euros. Duffel bags, on the other hand, start with a retail price of 54 euros all the way up to 66 euros. And again, with a 35% profit markup, I could look at making around 12 euros to 14 euros for each sale. So where stickers might give you €1 or €2, and maybe t-shirts might give you 3 or 4 euros in order to maintain a profit margin that will keep you competitive with the other designers, these two items can really come back with some great profit margins if you had to market and design for these particular items and obviously make some great sales this particular fourth quarter. Now, in truth, you might say, well, how popular are these two items compared to t-shirts and stickers? Well, you wouldn't be wrong in that respect, because when people think about visiting sites like Redbubble for items, they're predominantly thinking t-shirts and stickers. But from my point of view, and I'm hoping that this is something that I can get across to you, by designing for duffel bags and backpacks and really going to town in terms of your marketing, you could be making more profits in a market space that is still relatively growing and still relatively new. So what I'm going to do now today is show you how easy it is to design for these particular products, and even more so how easy it is to actually scale for these designs so that you can increase your presence within the marketplace for these products and hopefully make a great return for the time spent in terms of designing these particular products. So let's pop over to my computer screen. I've got Photoshop open, and I'll show you exactly how easy it is to design for these particular products. Okay, welcome back to my computer screen, and as you can see here on my screen, I have the duffel bag template that Redbubble provides, and while it might look rather daunting and confusing, in truth, it really isn't. So let's just go through it for a moment, and I'm going to zoom in here so that we can get a better idea of what we're working with. So, as you can see here, this is the top portion of the duffel bag, which is effectively going to be the body of the duffel bag. And these dotted lines here indicate where the straps are going to be on the duffel bag, while this cross dotted line over here will indicate the center point of the duffel bag. Now, further down, if we just scroll down here, we're given indication of the pixels in terms of dimensions, and then at the very bottom is the area which is effectively going to be the size of the duffel bag. Now, this gray area over here is the area which will not be printed on the duffel bag when you upload your design to Redbubble, whereas the checkerboard areas is effectively the transparent areas. So when you put in whatever you're going to be putting in terms of a design, that's the part that's going to show up on the Redbubble mockups when you upload your design. Now, if I had to zoom out here just a bit, now we're actually going to embed a design into the template and place it accordingly so that I can show you how easy it is and how it will look on Redbubble when we upload it. Okay, so given the fact that we're close to Thanksgiving and to Christmas, I went ahead and I downloaded a few Thanksgiving and Christmas patterns, which I'm going to use for both the duffel bag and backpack templates so that obviously we can see how easy it is to design for. Okay, so as you can see here, I have a few patterns that I downloaded from a very popular website called Pixabay. I'll leave a link to the website in the description if you've never heard of this. It's a great website that you can use to obtain photos, vectors, illustrations, patterns, whatever your imagination could be looking for. You'll probably find it on this website, and the great thing about it is that you can use these commercial free without any worry about obviously infringing on anybody's rights. So one of the designs that really caught my attention is this macaron type design. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click and I'm going to drag it onto Photoshop. Okay, now as you can see here, it's on top of the template. First thing that we want to do is we want to bring it behind the template, and to do so, we've got the layer here pertaining to the design, and I'm just going to left click, grab it, and drag it down below the template. And when I let it go, you're going to see that the template now is on top of the design. And then it's basically just a question of grabbing your move tool and moving your design to wherever it is that you would like it to appear. So what I'm going to do now is rotate it by hitting Control T on the keyboard or Command T on the keyboard if you're on a Mac, and right click on the design, and I'm just going to choose rotate 90 degrees clockwise. And once I'm happy with it, I'm just going to start moving it. And what I want to do is I want to get this design to fill up the whole body area of the duffel bag. Okay, and I'm just going to grab one of the handles and I'm just going to increase until it actually fills in the whole area. Now, once I'm happy with that, I'm just going to click enter on the keyboard. And what I want to do now is I want to fill the circle areas with this design, but I want the macaroons to be rotated and appear horizontal. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this layer. So I'm just going to click on it, hit Control J on the keyboard to duplicate. And now when I move the design, I'm going to be moving the new duplicated area. And in truth, if you wanted to, you could leave it as it is and then resize. But I want to try and keep some consistency to the design, okay, some uniformity. So I'm just going to hit Control T on the keyboard again. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to choose rotate 90 degrees clockwise. And then I'm just going to drag down into a section of the design which I'll be happy with. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that as it is. I'm going to hit enter to commit. And as you can see, the top layer, the horizontal layer of the design is overlapping the vertical one. So in order to do that, all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the layer and I'm going to drag it below the vertical layer. And there you go, I've got my design ready. Now, if I have to turn off the template, obviously it's going to look like a hodgepodge of designs, but you don't need to worry about it because of the fact that when you upload it as a PNG to Redbubble, the parts that we don't want to be seen are not going to appear on the design. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it. Obviously, remember, make sure that you have the template turned off when you save it. So I'm going to choose File, Save As. All right, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it as macaron duffel bag design, and then I'm going to go into save as type, and I'm going to hit P on the keyboard so that I can toggle all the way to PNG, which is effectively hitting the P key on the keyboard 8 times. And then once I'm happy with that, I just click enter and click OK to commit, and now my design is saved for the duffel bag. Okay, so now let's say I want to create a duffel bag with a Thanksgiving theme on it, and that's just as simple to do. Let's hop over to my screen and I'll show you how it's done. Okay, so here we are. We've got the duffel bag template up and running. I'm just going to bring my file explorer up into view here, and I had found this Thanksgiving pattern, which I'm just going to left click and drag over onto the template. And as you can see here, we have it on top of the template. So I'm going to just click and drag it below. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to left click and drag the design all the way to the top. And then I'm going to hold the shift key so that I can keep my design proportionate as I enlarge it. Grab the bottom right hand handle, and I'm just going to continue to increase until the design fills the entire template. Okay, and then once I'm happy with it, I'm just going to click OK. And effectively, as you can see here, you already have a design up and running that you could actually save and upload to Redbubble. But let's say for a moment that you didn't want to have all of these particular graphics of these leaves so large. Let's say you wanted to have them, let's say 30% smaller. So what we can do is we can go back to the original size of the design once we drag it onto Redbubble. And what we'll do is we'll press and hold the shift key, and I'm only going to drag it about halfway across the template. And once I'm happy with that, I'm going to hit enter to commit, and then I'm going to hit Control J on the keyboard to duplicate that layer. As you can see here, it's been duplicated. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab it with the mouse and I'm going to bring it down so that it will actually touch with the previous layer here. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring it up until it overlaps so that we can have the pattern continuing. And then what I can do is hit enter to commit and then duplicate this pattern again one more time, and I'm just going to drag it down. And this time I don't need to worry too much about being precise with the body area, because all that this layer is going to concern is a part in the circles. So once I'm happy with that, I'm going to hit enter to commit, and I'm going to go to my layers palette, and I'm going to grab that layer and I'm going to bring it all the way down to the bottom so that it won't affect the top 2 layers that I've already positioned into place. And as you can see here, we've got this beautiful Thanksgiving design, which I can now upload onto Redbubble. But if I wanted to take it one step further in terms of scaling this particular design, what I could do is I could, first and foremost, convert all of the layers into a rasterized layer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to merge them down together by hitting Control E on the keyboard, one after each other. Right, so if I had to turn off the template, we've got effectively the design covering the entire template. And what I can do is I can go down to the adjustment layers and I can add a hue saturation adjustment layer. And what I can do then is grab the hue layer, and if I wanted to, I can just take samples of different color hues and for each one that I find that really appeals to me, that really looks nice, or that I think would have the potential of making a sale, I can go ahead and save it as a PNG. So in truth, you could really come up with about 5, 6, 10, 20 different color variations of this design. But be careful that you don't want to make too many color variations of design, because in uploading a whole bunch of color variations, you might actually confuse your consumers because they wouldn't know which one that they would want to buy. So in truth, when you're scaling color variations of a particular design, I would only choose maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 color variations and then upload those. That would be a safe number to go with. So let's go back to 0 here so we can go back with the original layer. All right, and then all we're going to do is we're just going to click File, Save As, and then what we'll do is we'll just call it Thanksgiving Duffel Bag Design. Making sure that we change the Save As type to PNG, and then hit Enter, and voila, you've got your duffel bag Thanksgiving design ready. Okay, now we're going to hop over to designing for a backpack, which is just as easy as the duffel bag. The template might look a little bit confusing, but don't worry, I'm going to explain it to you. So let's pop over to the computer right now. Okay, so here we have the backpack template, and as you can see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different sections for the duffel bag that we have to ensure that our design covers in order to give a great looking product to our customers. Now, at the front here, this is the facing. This part over here, A1 is the front pocket, A2 is the top of the pocket, and if I had to zoom in onto the template here, we're going to see a small little graphic here that Redbubble provides, which shows us, okay, so we've got the top of the pocket, the front of the pocket, and then the face area. And then on the right hand side are going to be the side parts of the backpack, okay? So we've got B1, B2, and C1, which if I zoom out, you can see them over here. Now, the first thing I want to do is we want to make sure that we get a design that we can put onto this template. And what I did too as well, to keep to the Christmas theme, I thought, wouldn't it be a cool idea to have one of those sort of like ugly Christmas sweater type themes for the backpack? Again, it might sell, it might not. I mean, with this particular thing, all you can do is try and hope that maybe somebody will find it and like it and actually make the purchase. So I'm going to grab the design and I'm going to just drag it into Photoshop. Now, what I want to do is I just want to use this graphic to fill the top pocket, front pocket, and obviously the face section. I want to leave the sides out for now, and I'll explain in a little while why that is the case. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to take this graphic and I want to stretch it out all the way across the front pocket area and the face area of the backpack. So I'm just going to grab the right handle here, and I'm just going to stretch it out all across the front area. I'm not going to go onto the sides yet, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 2 different things that you could do with it. So once I'm happy with that, I'm going to hit enter on the keyboard to commit. Now, with respect to the side panels, what you could do is you could actually just color these areas with a complementary color of the backpack. So in other words, you want to take your eyedropper tool and you just want to move over and sample a color. So let's say we're going to zoom in here, and let's say for a moment we wanted to take this sort of dark turquoise bluish color. So I'm going to sample that, okay, and I'm going to click on OK. I'm going to zoom back out, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to paint with this color over the layer. So now I have this layer toggled. All I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my paint bucket tool, and I'm just going to click anywhere on the design. Don't go into a panic. We haven't lost the other layer here. It's on the top. What we're going to do now is we're just going to grab that layer and I'm going to drag it below the Christmas theme layer. And if I take the template layer and drag it to the top, you're now going to see that the design which I dragged into is going to be on the front pocket and on the facing, and on the sides I'm going to have this nice turquoisey blue type color. Okay. Now, if you don't want to have just the color version and you want to continue with the particular design, well, you can do that too as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the color layer, and I'm going to bring in the design layer one more time. So I'm going to click and drag it over. All right, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring it all the way to the top here, and I'm going to hit Control T to transform it, and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and hold the Shift key, and I'm going to drag it out until it basically covers B1, B2, and C1. But I'm not going to stretch it all the way across. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to commit this, and then I'm going to hit Control J on the keyboard to duplicate it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click and drag it down until it matches with the previous layer. And then I'm going to hit Control J again to duplicate that, and I'm going to drag that down to cover that as well. So once I bring the template up into view again, you're going to see that the sides now are going to be basically a continuation of the design. So we're going to have like effectively an all over print design on the backpack, which we then can obviously save and upload to Redbubble accordingly.
So there you have it, everybody. As you can see, it really doesn't take long to create some really eye-catching designs. Now, obviously, I didn't spend as much time as I would normally spend in terms of actually, tweaking the design and making it the best that I could possibly make it. Obviously, because this episode would actually drag on a lot longer than what I would want it to drag on to. But I think from what I've shown you today, you can get the gist that in truth, it's really not difficult to design for when you use the templates that Redbubble provide. And again, if you don't have Photoshop, don't worry. You can always use Photopea at photopea.com. It's an online imaging editing software program that you can use. It works just like Photoshop. So if you don't have Photoshop, don't worry. Just open up Photopea, drag the templates onto that, and then obviously drag your designs, whatever they might be, onto the template, and obviously adjust accordingly so that you can actually have some really eye-catching designs to upload. Now, let's hop over to my computer screen one last time so that I can show you what these designs look like on the Redbubble mockups so that you can see how eye-catching and attractive they are, at least from my perspective. You may disagree. That's up to you. That's not a problem. Art is subjective. Some people will like it, some people don't. But the truth of the matter is that it's really easy to do. And if you can focus some time in terms of designing for these two products and uploading a batch of designs accordingly every now and then, you're just increasing your chances of actually making greater profits through the sales of these particular items. And don't forget, as with all other products, Redbubble allows you to upload these modified designs for the various products that they have. So in truth, you could actually design using these design templates for the backpacks or duffel bags, and then you can actually just make some tweaks to those particular designs so that they'll show up really nice on the other products that Redbubble offers, like your t-shirts, your mugs, the clocks. I mean, all of the other products that Redbubble offers, you can just basically make one or two other design templates for the postcards, for the mugs, for the t-shirts, as I've shown in other episodes in the past. If you don't know how to do that, you can access those two as well through the Redbubble playlist on my channel. And then simply just upload one or two of these particular designs that can actually work on all of the other products so that they'll look good and you can really have a great listing for your particular design. So again, let's pop over to my computer screen one last time so that you can see the designs, and then we'll close off this episode.
Okay, so as you can see here, we've got the ugly Christmas sweater design, which, looks really good. And as you can see the sides over here of the backpack, which obviously continue with the design of the facing too as well. And if I had just left it as a single color, that would have worked as well. If we go into the duffel bags, these are the macaroons. So as you can see here, it's quite colorful. You've got these little polka dot designs in the background, which helps the macaroons stand out. And it works nicely on the sides as it does on the body of the duffel bag as well. And finally, we've got the Thanksgiving autumn leaf design, which, as you can see, there's a lot of nice continuity over here. The colors are really warm. It gives a nice autumn feel to it, and it will make a great gift item for anybody who really enjoys going out in amongst nature during the fall season, and maybe going out for a picnic or whatnot and carrying a nice blanket or a sweater or what have you in this duffel bag to enjoy the nice cool air and the beautiful colors that normally one associates, particularly within the northern hemisphere of this planet during the fall season. So as you can see here, again, it's not difficult to do, but for today, that's all I've got. So I wish you all the best of luck, and as always, be well, be safe, be creative. Bye for now.